Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Through the Fire and the SBN Small Business Network podcast. I am your host, Ryan Wickline. And today I'm going to answer a question I'm often asked. So, one thing that a lot of people kind of keep telling me is I'm not where I want to be because I don't have the right people around me. Well, you can still get started. My answer is always you can still get started because something I've kind of figured out is the people that you need don't start coming around you until you start taking action and you start showing people around you that you can actually are capable of something. I know in my own personal life that like when I go choose athletes to go work with more hands-on than others, that I need to make sure that they're committed to something because not it's just a waste of time. So one thing I always tell everybody, success leaves clues. Okay. If you want to be successful, go look at other successful people. This can be in books, podcasts, YouTube videos, documentaries, magazines. It's movies. It's all right there. Everything you need, especially in the environment we live in with the phone, smartphones, is right there in your hands. You can figure out any information you want. You just got to know where to look for it. So to get started, first thing I'd recommend, go look at the people around you in your industry, right? There's people around you who are successful at something, right? So taking my own personal life here, when I wanted to go start coaching more and run a club, guess what I did? I looked at everyone closest to me and saw their coaching styles and seeing what I could integrate in my own personal style, right? I wasn't going to be, that didn't mean I'm going to be a carbon copy of them. No, I understood I needed to take some stuff that they did well and see if I could implement that stuff in my own style. Because like I said before, my biggest weakness was leadership. I wasn't a very good leader because I thought leadership was position. And something I figured out later, and I'll talk more about this when I do leadership. A lot of time leaders don't get titles. They have no titles whatsoever. The best leaders have no titles whatsoever. And they come out of nowhere and help people. Okay, that's one thing I figured out about leadership. So first thing I did, but I'll get back to this and I'll talk more about that when I do leadership. But first thing I did was I dissected all the coaches around me. And I went back to the coaches I had growing up from camps I used to go to. And let me tell you, there were some high level people in there that I got to learn from. And I just started dissecting them and seeing what they did well. Also looked at my oldest brother, probably one of the best coaches you'll ever see. The way he could get kids to build relationships with him, and they'd run through a wall for him. I wanted that, I wanted that same thing. So I looked at everything that the people closest to me did first and started implementing some of that stuff. Because there's always people close to you that have a little bit of success in an area that it might not even be in your area, that you can still be like, hey, look what these guys do well. Hey, I want to implement this into my own lifestyle because guess what? If I use some of the stuff they've used to be successful in their industry, I can take that too and implement same things into my daily habit schedules that are going to help me become successful too. So always look at the people around you first. Second thing I would do, I would go look at people in your industry. Okay. And I'm not saying the people closest to you. I'm saying people in your industry that are successful. Because guess what? They're successful for a reason. Okay. That is why they are successful. Is because they know what to do, when to do it, and make the adjustments. So here, real quick story. So when I want to go start coaching, I went and started watching all these documentaries, reading books about all these coaches. And I didn't just stop at people that did wrestling. I went and started looking at college basketball coaches, college football coaches, NFL coaches. I mean, I deep dove into some of the most successful coaches and wanted to see what their players said about them, how they did everything. I wanted to see how they conducted themselves, how they built relationships with their athletes. And man, I was not disappointed. Like one of the best people that I got a lot of knowledge from was a college basketball coach, John Calipari. And the one thing I learned about him, or there's a couple things I learned. First thing is what his players said about him. They were like, he could sell ice to an Eskimo. Said, great salesman, slick back, smooth talking. He was a salesman. He sold his vision to those athletes and got the best out of them. And probably the most important thing I learned from him was this. People loved him or hated him. And I could kind of relate to that because I kind of get that stigma myself as people either love me or hate me, but I can't take offense to that because I know what I'm doing is bigger than all that. So, and I learned too, the second thing with him, with everybody hating him for a reason, he created that environment and that friction. And you've heard me talk about this before. The friction of people coming against him was what he needed to rise up and become better. And I was like, oh man, that's probably something I could implement a little bit more because I kind of bounced off that friction and let it contain me instead of using it to motivate me more and to rise up higher. So that was like that light bulb moment was like, hey, he's got a lot of similar traits as I do, like personality type, that, hey, maybe I can start implementing some of the stuff he does. So another coach I learned a lot from was Coach Mike Krzyzewski, another college basketball coach. Like, dry sense of humor, that cannot be me. I mean, storyteller, I can do that. Tell stories to relate more to the kids and everything. I could do all that. Relate to people, tell them stories to get the best out of them. But the one thing I seen with him was his players said one thing about him. They'd go to war for him. And I'm like, that is what you want to develop that relationship with your athletes or anybody that you're working with is, hey, you want that person beside you to say, hey, I'll go to war with you. Good times, bad times, I will be there and I'll go to war with you. Let's go. I mean, because in athletics, you got to think it is a competition. So it is kind of like a war, but the war is not against your competition, it's against yourself. You're going to battle against yourself every day to be the best version of yourself. So right there, two ways, right off the bat. Look at the people closest to you. Doesn't have to be in your field. Then go look at outside people that are in your field to be successful. The third is to go study people in that area that you're struggling with. So mine was leadership. So I didn't stop there at coaches or anything. I went and looked at leaders in the business world. So studied Jack Welch, the CEO of General Electric, some other high profile CEOs that had autobiographies out. And then went and started studying John Maxwell. And let me tell you, you want to know anything about leadership? Go read some John Maxwell books. He's like the aforementioned guy in leadership. And that was one of the reasons I joined like the John Maxwell community was because, hey, I love talking leadership. Like I went back to college and they offered these classes on leadership. And I did a deep dive in all these different leadership styles and how people got the most out of everybody because that subject just fascinated me so much. It was just like, hey, how could one person over here have this sort of leadership style and this other person over here have this other leadership style, but they're both successful, you know, and the studies that were done, I'll talk more about this later, but like that subject was so fascinating that like each person started out doing something different. Like there was no correct way to do it, but all ended up at a certain point. So like learning all this stuff in books and like watching documentaries on these guys and just seeing like their philosophy towards leadership and everything. And that was a game changer for me. I was able to develop some really strong relationships with people, and that was the reason I was successful. And still, the reason why I can get the most out of a lot of people is because I understand those philosophies and everything. So you don't have to, if leadership might not be your thing, it might be some other skill or some other area that you're wanting to be the best at. But the same principles apply. Success leaves clues. First, start looking at the people around you. They're successful. They're successful in a certain area. I guarantee you that. There, you got a couple of them that have been successful, whether it be nutrition, health, something that, hey, that might be able to, you might be able to take some of that and carry it over into your own personal life. Second, go look at the people in your field that are successful. I mean, you go do a deep dive into them, you never know what you're going to find out. There, go look at other people in different industries that are successful. They're successful for a reason. I mean, in this modern day and age, there is no reason why you are going to sit there and blame somebody else for you not being successful. There's no reason because there's so much information nowadays that you can look up anything if you trust the source and become a better person. So no excuses. And remember, the only way to get what you want is to go through the fire.